What's up, you guys? Today, let's talk about why narcissists target empaths. Why do narcissists target kind people? And I'm going to be working through some of my thoughts with you guys while I'm going through this and figuring this out also for myself in a way, but I've boiled it down to a few things that I think are the most likely answers and the ones that make the most sense to me. And that's because of this dynamic that is created between the narcissist and the empath when those two people come together. See, first of all, narcissists have a need to feel self-esteem. The reason they have a need to feel self-esteem is because they've grown up with these most likely difficult childhoods where, let's say, one of their parents or both of their parents really did not make them feel very important or loved or cared for, or they felt like for any number of reasons, anything really could have gone on where that child in that situation interpreted their situation as the most, as the most useful method for them to survive was to create these behaviors that were narcissistic in nature. And it's really just came down to the fact that at their core, narcissists don't have truly any self-esteem. And the reason why they put on this appearance of having all this self-esteem is because that's what they want to feel on the outside. So they try to create that, and they cover up the fact that on the inside they're actually probably truly fully suffering, and they live with some incredibly painful thoughts that they have about themselves. And then you put that into perspective where on the opposite side of the polarity scale, you're looking at the empath, the really kind person, and this person is generally a very kind and loving person that wants to give to people. And when you're a kind and loving person, you tend to make other people feel very important just by the nature of who you are. These kind and loving people, they want to give to other people, they want to serve other people, they want to do kind things. And who doesn't feel incredible when, let's say for example, somebody shows up at your house and they bring you some flowers, they bring you some chocolates, they send you a little text, a little reminder that they're thinking of you. All of those things that a kind, loving person does, that is especially on the scale further alongside, that's generally even more kind than other people, that kind, loving person helps other people feel really important and special, and it is a boost to people's self-esteem in general. So then you have this situation where the empath, the general kind person, has made themselves an easy target for the predator, for the narcissist. So you get this really, you get this dynamic where it's almost like you're out in the wild and you start getting, like a tiger chasing down another animal because that's the prey. And the empath unknowingly is just trying to be kind and loving, and you don't know a narcissist is truly a narcissist unless you've studied some of the behaviors or you get to know the person on the deep down level, because on the surface it might just appear as someone is like a really confident person that cares about themselves. But the more that you get to know that person and you see the deeper side of them, and you see the insecurities that they carry, and you see that they truly don't have a sense of self, you start to notice that this person might not actually be a fully confident person that loves themselves. In fact, it's a person that fully on the inside has a lot of self-hatred, and that has a lot of low self-esteem and lack of self-love. So when this kind empath has become the easy prey for this narcissist, the narcissist, especially as I've spoken about on this channel before, the covert narcissist will do whatever it takes to control this person, to be able to have finally in their lifetime a steady supply of self-esteem coming in from that person. And the fact that the kind empath may choose to leave the relationship at any given point scares the narcissist. The narcissist must survive by searching for that self-esteem from external sources. So they do everything that they can to belittle, to ruin the self-esteem, and to shut down the kind and loving person so that they can put the leash on that person. And you get this dynamic where all of a sudden what seems to go down in these relationships is first the love bombing stage, and then you get the devaluing stage where all of a sudden the kind loving person is put down, and that's the stage where the leash is really tried to be wrapped around that person. It's almost like this I would say dictator to slave dynamic, because the narcissist has become so devoid of their self-esteem that they cannot bring themselves to fully love another person and care more about that other person like if it was a part of themselves. And because they can't love that other person like it's a part of themselves, because they don't even love themselves on the inside, you do get that dynamic where all of a sudden the narcissist wants to create a slave of the empath so that they don't have to have this fear, and they can create certainty in their lives that they will always have someone that will be boosting their self-esteem over a long period of time. So that is why that situation is created. That is why, in my opinion, the narcissist targets the empath, and why the empath then makes themselves unknowingly an easy target to be preyed upon by the narcissist. Now, this begs the question of what should the empath do? What should the kind, loving person do when they come across a narcissist? Well, first of all, they have to become educated in what a narcissist is, what they do, what their behaviors are like, so that first of all, you can quickly recognize when you come across one if you're ever in that situation. Second of all, you must ask yourself why. If you're in a situation where you've only come across one narcissist and that's it, and you don't keep, bringing any other narcissist into your life, you're good to go. But if you're in a situation where you've attracted now multiple people who are narcissistic into your life, you have to ask yourself, why is that happening to you? And it's, in my opinion, actually, as horrendous as the effects that a narcissist can have on a kind, loving empath, I'm still of the opinion that narcissists should actually still be treated with love and kindness and compassion, because on the inside, they're broken, they're torn down, and they don't have any self-esteem to love themselves anyway. And to have somebody else on the outside, the kind, loving empath, maybe try to even ruin that, it sounds pretty I would say hypocritical. I would even say to even say just, or to go out of their way to hate on that person. I really do think all people should be treated with love and kindness. So now, if you're the type of person that has attracted multiple narcissists into your life, I want you to ask yourself why. Because there is a reason that is happening, and there's a reason why you've chosen, maybe not consciously previously, to keep those people or to attract those people into your life. And more often than not, it has to do with the fact that you also want to be loved fully for who you are. And that is where you get roped in through the initial love bombing stage, because it's the time where this person seems to be reciprocating, where they seem to be on your same wavelength, where the narcissist really is more of an iguana. They will shape shift and they will change themselves to fit in more with you so that they can get a grip around you. And so when you, as the kind, loving empath, are in that situation where you're feeling loved and appreciated by this person in the love bombing stage, then you move into the devaluing stage. And the issue with so many kind, loving empaths is that you love to see the better side of people, which I personally think is an absolutely incredible trait that everybody should carry. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't see the truth and the reality of what's happened, because that is when narcissists begin to gaslight you and they make you question your own reality. Just because you want to see the best in people does not mean that you should allow yourself to be gaslighted, to question your own reality. Because When that starts to happen, you start to fall further and further into the trap, and you get yourself deeper and deeper into the web of lies, where you will then begin to not trust yourself. And the moment that you don't trust yourself and you trust them and their word and what they're telling you the reality actually is, that is when they have full control over you. Because for as long as you trust that other person more than you trust yourself and your internal core, you are at their mercy and you are at their command, and they have accomplished their objective of controlling you and taming you. When deep down, regardless of any situation where they're gaslighting you, you know that deep down inside you felt a little something that told you something was off and wrong. And that kind and loving and incredible quality that empaths has is a strength that starts to get used against them. In fact, I don't know why, but I think of Floyd Mayweather. The reason why Floyd Mayweather went undefeated 50-0 was because he was so good at getting into the ring, analyzing the other boxer, and adjusting his own boxing style to completely destroy the other boxer. He would change his fighting style. If you listen to the boxers that have fought him, they would say he might change his boxing style 2 or 3 times within a round, let alone the fight. And he's just doing a whole bunch of different things to try to understand where you're at, where your mindset is, what your weaknesses are, how he can use your weaknesses against you, and then fight you back with the different strengths that he's built, and then he will completely dominate his opponents inside of the ring. That is what's happening inside of the empath versus narcissist dynamic. They're going into you, they're learning about you, they're using everything, every detail you give them, every time that you tell them a secret of yours, every time you confide in them, every time you open up to them, every time that you give them more ammunition, they're learning about you. And they will shapeshift themselves whenever the situation comes up. They will change themselves to take advantage of you, to take advantage of your trust, and they will do whatever it takes to fool and manipulate you and gaslight you, because they know that if they learn your strengths and your weaknesses, they can use that to shapeshift into whoever they want to be, to take advantage of you at any given point. And the only time that this ends in your life is when you take the time to realize, what need were you trying to meet by being in a relationship with them? What need were you trying to meet when you were in a relationship with them? When you take time to think about that, and you think maybe you were trying to get someone to love you, maybe you thought someone would finally appreciate you the way you appreciate them, I want you to dig deep down and ask yourself, what is it that you were trying to meet by talking or by being with this person? And then ask yourself if being in the relationship with that person is really the best way of meeting that need. And I will bet money on it that the answer is no. And that meeting your needs in a different way with a different person is the right answer. So then you come to a decision of what type of person are you going to be. Are you going to be the type of person that allows yourself to be used and manipulated by the narcissist? Or are you going to step away from that? Because now they've dragged you down to their level, and they've slowly deterred you away from your self-esteem. They've slowly made you not trust yourself. They made you trust them. And now, in a way, you resemble them to a slight degree, because if they don't have any self-esteem and they take yours away, now you're in a spot where you're not fully who you were anymore. And you've compensated who you are at your core to be in this harmonious relationship with this person that has been abusing you and using you. And that's not okay. I'm here to tell you, man, I love you and I want you to be happy. So I want you to ask yourself, is it true that deep down at your core, are you this person that they've made you think that you are? Or do you remember the time before you met this person that you were much happier and healthier and better off in life? Is that the person that you actually are? And have you learned from this experience that you're going through, and are you learning from it, and can you come out stronger on the other side? The answer to that last question is yes. You just have to make a different decision now. You must become a different person in this instant and make the decision for yourself to step away from that relationship. If you are in that relationship, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It might take you a week, it might take you a day, it might take you a month, it might take you a year to fully step out of that relationship and to avoid any future repercussions that this narcissist is placing on your life, because some situations can get very extreme because you never know when the narcissist is going to stop. Your best option truly is going to be to step away and to stand up for yourself. And it starts right now when you make the decision to be yourself, who you are at your core, and live your happiest life. Trust yourself more than you trust them. And doing that and listening to your core desires will take you the rest of the way. You just have to make the decision right now. So that does it for this video. Thank you guys for sticking around. That ended up being way more awesome than I thought it would be, so that's sweet. If you want a free Legend wristband, go get one. The link is in the description down below. I ship these out to you guys if you just help me out with the shipping. The wristband is free. I also have some white and pink ones that are pretty cool. So hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.